Ladies and gentlemen, in 2025, there's one thing that you need to grasp if you want to achieve greatness, mastering the art of reinvention. And let me tell you this up front, reinvention is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The world is moving faster than ever before, and if you're not evolving, you're getting left behind. You don't get to stay the same and expect things to change for you. You have to make the decision to change for yourself. Reinvention isn't about tweaking the edges, it's about transforming every single part of who you are. Let me make this crystal clear. Change isn't something that will passively happen to you. Change is something you actively engage with. Too many people out there think they can sit back and wait for the world to hand them an opportunity. They think if they just keep doing the same thing, somehow it will work out. But here's the hard truth, you can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. Change is not an option in 2025, it's essential. If you're not reinventing yourself, you're dying. It's that simple. The world is moving at lightning speed, and if you're not actively working to reinvent yourself, you're getting left behind. The ones who succeed are the ones who embrace change head on. The ones who are afraid to change, they stagnate. They die a slow death. But reinvention is not for the faint of heart. It's not about making small, comfortable adjustments. If you want real transformation, if you want to master the art of reinvention, you need to take massive action. Forget small steps. Forget trying to play it safe. You've got to go all in. Most people spend their entire lives doing the bare minimum, hoping things will improve. Well, let me tell you something. Nothing improves by staying comfortable. You want results? You've got to take massive, bold action. You've got to push yourself beyond your limits and leave the comfort zone behind. That's where growth happens. That's where reinvention happens. In the space where you are uncomfortable, where you are terrified, that's where the magic happens. If you're not willing to put everything on the line, to risk it all, then you'll never achieve the level of success you're capable of. Now, here's where most people fail when it comes to reinvention. They refuse to let go of the past. They hold on to old identities, old stories, old ways of thinking. They hang on to their past mistakes or even their past successes. But listen up, if you want to reinvent yourself, you've got to leave the past behind. You can't move forward with your foot on the brake. It's time to let go of all the excuses, all the fears, and all the limiting beliefs that are keeping you tied to who you were. The person you were yesterday has no place in the future you're about to create. You need to let go of your past failures, your past disappointments, and even your past victories that might be giving you a false sense of security. Only by shedding the old can you step into the new version of yourself. But even after you let go of the past, you can't just coast along. Reinvention requires relentless discipline. It's not enough to decide that you want to change, you've got to be disciplined about it. Discipline means putting in the work when no one is watching, doing the things that others won't do, making sacrifices that others aren't willing to make. Reinvention is a journey that demands daily commitment. It's not about making one bold decision and thinking that's enough. It's about waking up every single day and deciding that you will do whatever it takes to become the person you are meant to be. You don't get to be complacent. You don't get to make excuses. You've got to commit to the grind. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to go. Without it, reinvention is just a dream. Finally, understand this: reinvention is not something you do in isolation. You need to surround yourself with people who will demand more from you. If you want to reinvent yourself, you've got to be around people who push you, challenge you, and refuse to let you stay stuck in your old ways. You need a circle that is relentless in holding you accountable. Get rid of the people who drag you down. Get rid of the ones who tell you it's too hard or too risky. You need people who see your potential and will push you to achieve it. Your environment will either elevate you or hold you back. Choose wisely. In 2025, if you want to master the art of reinvention, you have to be willing to embrace change, take massive action, let go of the past, stay disciplined, and surround yourself with people who will push you to the top. There's no room for half measures. There's no room for mediocrity. The time for reinvention is now. And the only question you need to ask yourself is this: are you willing to do what it takes? Because if you are, nothing can stop you. The world is waiting for you to show up as the best version of yourself. Are you ready to answer the call? Change is not an option. It's not something you can avoid or delay indefinitely. If you want to survive, let alone thrive, you need to understand one simple truth: change is a necessity. The world is constantly shifting. The rules are changing. The systems are evolving. The way people think, the way businesses operate, the way we interact with each other, it's all in flux. And if you're not actively embracing that, if you're not adapting with it, you're falling behind. Period. Now, let me be clear, I'm not talking about change for the sake of change. I'm talking about the type of change that demands you evolve, that demands you grow, that demands you take massive action. Too many people get comfortable. Too many people stick with what they know, cling to what's familiar, and resist the discomfort of stepping into the unknown. But if you're waiting for things to slow down, if you're waiting for life to give you a break, you're wasting precious time. The world doesn't wait for you to catch up. It keeps moving forward with or without you. And the moment you stop adapting, the moment you stop changing, is the moment you start dying, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You stop growing, you stop evolving. And once you stop growing, you stop living. Change isn't something to fear. It's the catalyst for everything you want in life. It's the force that propels you forward, that unlocks new opportunities, that forces you to become the best version of yourself. I think about it, every breakthrough you've ever had, every achievement, every lesson learned, none of that would have happened if you hadn't faced some form of change. Whether it was a change in your circumstances, a change in the way you saw yourself, or a change in the way you approached the world, that shift, that discomfort was the seed of growth. Without change, there's no progress. Without change, there's no greatness. The challenge, though, is that change doesn't come easy. It's uncomfortable. It's unpredictable. It challenges you. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, your fears, and your limitations. But here's the thing, nothing worth having comes without effort. Nothing worth achieving comes without resistance. If you want to build a great life, if you want to build something meaningful, you have to learn to not just cope with change, but to welcome it. Embrace it. You can't move forward if you're constantly looking back, holding on to the past, or trying to preserve the status quo. The world will never stop changing, and neither should you. You have to keep pushing yourself forward, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it feels easier to just stay where you are. And make no mistake, change isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you create. You have the power to drive it. You have the power to shape your own reality, to choose how you respond to the inevitable shifts that life throws your way. But you can't do that if you're stuck in fear or resistance. You can't do that if you're sitting on the sidelines, waiting for permission to grow. The only way to create the life you want, the success you want, is by becoming someone who actively seeks out change, who embraces discomfort, and who is willing to evolve in the face of adversity. That's how you build resilience. That's how you build strength. That's how you build the life you've always dreamed of. So stop looking at change as something that happens to you. Start seeing it as an opportunity to grow, to innovate, to push past your limits and redefine what's possible. The world is moving forward whether you're ready or not. But if you choose to embrace change, if you choose to accept it as a necessary part of your journey, you'll find that it becomes the very thing that propels you to heights you never thought possible. Change isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. Embrace it and watch as it transforms your life. If you want to truly change your life, if you want to create something extraordinary, then you must throw out the idea of small steps. Small steps are for those who are content with mediocrity. Small steps are for those who are afraid of the risk, afraid of the challenge, afraid of the unknown. Let me tell you something, nothing extraordinary has ever been created by people taking small steps. If you want to achieve the kind of success that will make people sit up and notice, if you want to break through to the next level of greatness, you have to take massive action. Most people sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They wait for the stars to align, for all the conditions to be just right. They think that if they take small, cautious steps, eventually they'll get there. But here's the truth, they won't. They'll stay stuck, spinning their wheels, never moving forward with the speed and intensity required to make a real impact. If you're waiting for the right moment, you're already too late. The people who succeed aren't waiting, they're taking massive action every single day. They don't care if the conditions are perfect, they create their own momentum by going full throttle, no excuses. Taking massive action means making decisions quickly and sticking with them. It's about deciding what you want and then going all in without hesitation, without doubting yourself, and without looking back. Too many people spend their time making plans, overthinking, worrying about every little detail. And what happens? They delay. They waste time. They wait for permission. But while they're waiting, others are out there executing, making mistakes, learning from them, and getting closer to their goals every single day. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is this: the ones who succeed aren't waiting, they're doing. They're acting, they're learning from their mistakes as they go, and because they're moving with intensity, they're getting results. Massive action is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, or how much experience you have. If you're willing to take massive action, if you're willing to push past the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty, you'll get ahead. You'll be in the driver's seat of your own destiny. But it requires you to take risks. It requires you to face the uncomfortable truth that you're not going to have all the answers up front. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. But guess what? That's how you grow. Failure is not a setback, it's feedback. It's your opportunity to pivot, to adjust, to learn. The people who take massive action are the ones who fail the most, but they also succeed the most because they keep moving forward. When you take massive action, you take control of your life. You stop being passive. You stop being a spectator. You become a creator, a force of nature. Action brings clarity. It creates momentum. It makes things happen. You may not have all the information you need at first, but by moving forward, you'll gather the knowledge you need along the way. The more you move, the clearer your path becomes, but only if you take action. This isn't about waiting for the perfect circumstances or perfect timing. It's about showing up every single day and doing the work. It's about pushing through the tough days and using that pain, that discomfort, to propel you forward. It's about not being afraid to go big, to take risks, to push the envelope. People who succeed don't wait for life to happen to them, they make life happen. And they do it by taking massive action. It's time to stop thinking small. It's time to stop waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. The opportunity is right in front of you. The world doesn't care about your excuses, and it doesn't care about your fears. It only cares about what you do. So stop planning and start doing. Take the action that your dreams require. If you want to be great, if you wanted to achieve extraordinary things, you've got to go all in. No more half-hearted attempts, no more procrastination. It's time to take massive action right now. To step into the future, you must first understand one simple truth: you cannot carry the weight of the past with you. Too many people are stuck because they're still tied to what has already happened. They're shackled by their mistakes, their failures, their regrets, and sometimes even their past successes. They hold on to these things like they're a part of them, like they define who they are today. But let me tell you something, holding on to the past is like trying to move forward while looking over your shoulder. You can never see where you're going if you're constantly looking at where you've been. The past is a part of your story, yes, but it is not your story. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen, how many times you've been hurt, or how many times you've failed. Those experiences do not dictate who you are today, nor do they determine who you can become. But here's the catch: to unlock your true potential, to move into the next chapter of your life, you have to make a conscious decision to let go of the past. You cannot keep letting your mistakes, your fears, or your heartbreaks define your path forward. They are anchors holding you down, and until you release them, you'll never be free to reach the heights you're capable of. Think about it every time you revisit those past hurts, those failures, or those memories of missed opportunities. You're feeding the idea that they have power over you. You're allowing the past to continue controlling your future. And it's not just the painful parts of your past. Sometimes people hold on to their old victories, their old identities, their old ways of thinking. They keep telling themselves, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is how I succeeded. And while there's nothing wrong with acknowledging past success, when you keep relying on it to validate you today, you stop growing, you stop evolving, you start living in the glory of what you did, rather than what you could still accomplish. The problem is, when you're constantly looking behind you, you miss the opportunities right in front of you. You miss the chance to build a better future. When you're tied to the past, you can't make room for the future. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean disregarding what's happened. It doesn't mean pretending that pain or loss didn't matter. What it means is releasing the grip that the past has over you so that you can create something new, something better, something that is aligned with who you are now, not who you were. The truth is, the past was never meant to define your future. It was meant to teach you. Every experience, every challenge, every failure, and every triumph was meant to shape you, not to trap you. Letting go of the past is an act of freedom. It's the ultimate declaration that you are no longer a prisoner to things you cannot change. You are no longer a prisoner to mistakes you made, people who let you down, or experiences that hurt you. You are free to take full control of your life today, and that's the only moment that matters. The future is open to you, but you cannot reach it if you're still holding on to the weight of the past. Every time you make the choice to let go, you make room for the new. You create space for growth, for opportunity, and for transformation. And that's the only way forward. I want you to think for a moment about what you could do if you let go of the past. Think about how much energy you would have if you stopped fighting the battles that have already been fought. Think about how much more creative, how much more powerful you would be if you freed yourself from the burden of what was and focused on what could be. You are not defined by what happened yesterday. You are defined by what you choose to do today and what you decide to build tomorrow. Releasing the past is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's a declaration that you are ready to move forward, to step into the unknown, to embrace the new and the unfamiliar. It's the courage to leave behind the safety of what you know and trust that what lies ahead is worth the risk. The only thing standing between you and your future is the choice to let go. So today, make that choice. Let go of the past and step boldly into the future that's waiting for you. Let go of the doubts, the fears, the failures, and the victories that no longer serve you. Step into a new version of yourself, one that is not defined by what's behind you, but by the limitless possibilities ahead. The future is yours to shape, but first you've got to let go. And when you do, you'll be amazed at what you can create. If you're going to reinvent yourself, if you're going to become the person you've always known you could be, there's one thing you cannot escape: discipline. Discipline is the backbone of transformation. It's the thing that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the difference between wishing for a better life and actually creating one. Discipline is not just a habit, it's a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to show up, to do the hard things, to make the sacrifices that others are too lazy or too scared to make. You cannot afford to live without it if you want to master the art of reinvention. The world is full of distractions that will lure you away from your goals and trick you into thinking that the things you're doing in the moment matter more than the vision you have for your future. Your phone, social media, people around you, old habits, they all pull you in different directions, trying to steal your time and your energy. But here's the truth, if you're not in control of your time, you're never going to have control over your life. Your focus is your power. And the only way to harness that power is through discipline. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to go. Without it, the distance is too great, the obstacle's too tough, and the temptation to quit too strong. But when you cultivate discipline, you start to shape your world. You start to make choices that align with your highest potential. You begin to control your mind, your body, and your actions. You set the terms for your life, not the world around you. You create your reality through the consistent application of focus, effort, and intention. Focus is another critical piece of this equation. It's easy to get distracted. Life throws all sorts of shiny objects at you, each one trying to pull your attention away from what really matters. But focus is your secret weapon. The ability to zone in on what's important, to block out the noise, and to direct your energy towards your most important tasks is what makes all the difference. Focus is about identifying your highest priorities and relentlessly pursuing them, regardless of the distractions that come your way. It's about saying no to the things that don't serve your mission and yes to the things that move you forward. Here's the thing about discipline and focus, they go hand in hand. One without the other is like trying to drive a car with no steering wheel. You can have all the willpower in the world, but if you don't have focus, your energy will be scattered and ineffective. You need both to succeed. Discipline will get you out of bed early to the gym or into your office. Focus will ensure you're doing the right things while you're there. Without these two, you're wasting time and energy. With them, you're unstoppable. But don't mistake discipline for perfection. Discipline isn't about being perfect or doing everything without flaw. It's about doing the right things consistently, even when it's hard. It's about showing up day after day, making progress, even if it's slow. Because slow progress is still progress. The key is to keep moving forward, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere fast. That's where discipline comes in. When you feel like quitting, discipline is the thing that will push you to keep going. It's the thing that tells you to rise again, even after you've failed, to try again, even after you've been knocked down. And that's what will ultimately set you apart from the rest. When you cultivate relentless discipline and focus, you stop being a passive observer in your life. You stop letting your circumstances dictate your path. You become the one who controls the narrative. You stop making excuses and start making results. It's not about waiting for motivation, it's about creating a system that makes success inevitable. You build the habits that support your vision. You create a routine that drives you towards your goals, whether you feel like it or not. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is forever. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. And the beauty of this is that over time, discipline and focus become who you are. They become part of your identity. When you make discipline a habit, it stops being something you have to force. It becomes natural. It becomes your new way of living. Focus stops being a struggle and starts being effortless. You look at obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. And once this happens, you've truly unlocked the power of reinvention. Because now you're not just going through the motions, you're intentionally crafting the life you want, one disciplined action at a time. So make no mistake about it, mastering discipline and focus is not optional. It is the key to everything you want to achieve. You must be willing to commit to it day in and day out. The path to reinvention is not easy. It's going to be long, challenging, and filled with setbacks, but if you can learn to discipline your mind, focus your energy, and take consistent action, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. Reinvention will not only be possible, it will be inevitable. So as you step into the future, remember this discipline and focus are the forces that will propel you to the heights you've always dreamed of. They are not just habits, they are the foundation upon which your transformation will stand. Embrace them with unwavering commitment. Cultivate them with the same intensity you would apply to your most prized possessions. Every day, make the decision to show up, to do the work, to silence the distractions, and to relentlessly pursue the vision that is in your heart. Because when you combine discipline with focus, you unlock a power within you that no obstacle, no setback, and no challenge can defeat. The journey to reinvention begins with you, and the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is your ability to master the art of discipline and focus. This is your time. This is your moment. Now, take the first step and make it count.